Photoshop is one of the best tools in the industry, and I used it to create an entire Web3 world. Hi, my name is Austin Riddick. I'm the founder of a project called BattleBrains, and this is a series called My Journey as a Web3 Founder. And today we're going to talk about the third tool that we have in our arsenal that me as a founder I've been using for a number of years now. Since 2021, I've been working on this project. I've used a number of tools, and I wish that somebody came back and told me everything that I should be using, especially if you just have some ideas as a founder and you want to create your own NFT project, or you want to do something in the crypto space or whatever it is. Using some of these tools and being, having somebody tell you what the best tool is, that would help me out a lot. But that's the reason why I'm doing this now. The third tool that we have here today is Photoshop. Now, I know that you've heard about this before. I know you've probably even researched a little bit of it, but I can't tell you enough just how much I love Photoshop and how much it is worth your while to check it out. Now, if you're brand new to photo editing and you don't want to spend a lot of money, maybe not the best tool for you. You can check out something like GIMP. However, if you're okay with spending 20, 30 bucks a month, maybe even 15 a month, I forget what it is, there is a premium for it monthly, it is worth it. Because Photoshop is one of the best tools in the entire industry, bar none. So let's jump right into it, guys. This is Photoshop. Just like any other tool, when you first get inside it, you can literally just drag and drop an image into it. If you're trying to work with an image that you already have, and you just want to make some edits, recolor things, literally just drag and drop it. If you don't want to do that, you want to start from scratch to make something, just like most tools, you hit new, choose the size of your canvas, whether you want it to be 1080p, choose if it's pixels or inches, the resolution, lots of customization here. Very versatile tool. I would say that Photoshop is practically the best tool to use for image and photo editing. All right, now this is a scene from one of our games you guys will be seeing in the future. Has one of our characters from the Yellow faction. This is a scene actually you'll see once you complete one of the levels in the game. You'll get like a cool little complete animation, and this is the animation that you will see. I'm actually going to play it for you real quick so you know what I'm talking about, and then we'll go back and I'll show you guys exactly how I use Photoshop to help me with scenes like this. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get into Photoshop. Now, very similar to GIMP, you're working with layers in Photoshop. Layers are incredibly important, and I'm going to get into that right now. Similar to what you have with other photo editing softwares, you have a hierarchy of layers. What does that mean? Whatever layer is at the bottom is at the back of your canvas, and everything on top of that is literally layered on top of the image. What does that mean? Let me show you. So I have the background layer, which is right here, the background scene. And then if you notice, I have the ship. This ship is a layer on top. If you notice right above it, it's above the background scene. So that is higher on the hierarchy. That's a mouthful. And now you can see that it is layered on top of it. So therefore it'll always show on top of the background scene. Hope you guys got what I'm trying to say there. It's, pretty basic, but when you're just getting into photo editing software, it can be kind of difficult to wrap your head around that. So let's get into the other part of Photoshop and layers is your eyeglass toggle visibility tool, right? So just by clicking the little eyeglass, you can turn off and on different layers, whatever you want to do. So for me, these are all the layers that I've used within that video you guys saw, right? This is, just everything I used to make that video. These are also the glass you see broke at the end of it. And some people ask me, why are you using Photoshop before you go into After Effects? Can't you just build all this in After Effects? Yes, you can, but I like to go back and edit my images later and save everything and be able to edit them whenever I want. So I will make everything in Photoshop first. I will lay it out however I want, and then I will import it into something like After Effects to animate the scene. But let's go over the tools that I used in Photoshop to make all this possible, right? So the first tool that you have, let me just put my little character up here, is the one I'm using right now, which is the Move tool, right? And the Move tool is exactly what it sounds like. I can literally just grab any layer and move it around as I see fit. And just to let you know, if I want to put it back to where it was, I just hit Control Z and it goes back where it was. I think if you're on Mac, it's like Command Z, something like that. Very basic. Then your next tool is going to be your rectangular marquee tool. There's a rectangular one and then there's an elliptical one as well. And these are just selection tools. They will allow you to select a portion of whatever layer that you're working on. So right now we're on the background scene. I'm selecting this circle right on the background scene. And now I can hit something like Control C, and then Control V. And what happens is I actually just duplicated a portion of the background layer that I selected. So I have the background, then I made this color selection tool, which is a giant circle, and then I hit Control C and then Control V, which is copy then paste, right? Now I have a portion of the background that I copied, which is pretty cool. And I can do whatever I want with that. There's a lot of applications for it, but that's just a very basic thing you guys can see. Let me just delete that real quick. You don't really need that. But anyways, the next tool, which I use a lot, one of the best tools is the lasso tool. If you hold down the left click, you will see that there's other tools whenever you see a little tiny arrow right there. I use the lasso tool out of all of these tools fairly often. It is one of the most powerful ones. Similar to the rectangle and the elliptical tool, this is a free selection tool. So you're not tied to a particular shape. You can just freely select whatever it is you want, right? If I want to just freely select this portion here and literally just hit, copy paste, I can do that and then go back to my Move selection tool and look, there you go. So, and there's a lot of applications to that. Just to let you know, it's not just simply selecting a portion of, your screen or your layer. You can use that for AI. You can use it for specific colors. You can use that to duplicate something on your image that is very small, or you can use it to hide something. There's a lot of applications for it. But for now, I'll give you guys the basics. The next tool that I use, which is important, is the Magic Wand tool. If you're familiar with GIMP, it's kind of like the color selection tool. It allows you to select very specific portions of an image, has a little bit of AI built into it. So it typically works with color. So it'll select a single color that you're working with. And at the top, you have a tolerance. So the higher the tolerance, the more it's going to select that is similar to whatever it is you just clicked on. So right now I have it at a 50, which is, a medium tolerance. So it'll select anything that has a similar color to this blue color right here. Now, if I were to put that to like 90, right? And I hit that, now it's selecting an even larger portion of whatever I selected previously. And to give you a better example of this, right, I'm gonna look at this character and, no, wrong one, excuse me. Which character is this here? Let's select the actual, there we go. So this character here, right, I just selected his face. See how it's perfectly selected just the yellow area? If I wanted to, now I can recolor this, I can add something, I can add a pattern to it. Not that I would do that, it would look terrible, but you can do whatever you want, right? You can use that to select the character's hair. Now I'm only looking at the hair and maybe even a little bit of this gun, but you can change what it's doing, and now I can change the color of the hair on the fly if I wanted to, just by using this Magic Wand tool. And then you manipulate the tolerance and it'll select less or more, just depending on what you're doing with it. So that's a really powerful tool, and I highly suggest using it. The next tool is the Crop tool. This will just allow you to crop your image. Literally just do this. If you want to cut the background image in half, or literally just everything in half, right? Hit enter. There you go. You just cut your background image in half in under a second. The next one here is the Color or Eyedropper tool. This allows you to select specific colors that you want. So let's say I had the wand, right? And I selected my layer, which is the character's face, and I wanted to change the color of his face, right? I can take that and then I can go over to the eyedropper tool and then select this blue. And now I want to make him blue. And then I can take my brush tool and I can literally start coloring him blue now, based on the selection that I had. Looks terrible for the moment. There's a better way to do that, but just showing you what you can do with those tools and how powerful they are, and just so quickly without having any knowledge at all, what you can actually do with that. So the next tool we have here that I use typically is the paint bucket tool. Very similar to the brush, it just automatically paints an entire area that you've selected on the fly. So if I wanted to take this, right, and put this to green and immediately color it to green, there you go. Nothing too special with that, but it is a tool I use quite often. Then you have your text tool, which it just fills in with filler text as soon as you make the text, right? But you can change it to something like, Battle Brains. And then you can change the actual font of this. I usually use DK Lemon Yellow Sun Regular. It's quite the mouthful, but that's what I use for Battle Brains, but there's all kinds of tools. You can even import different text for this. And the text tool here is amazing. You can take the text and turn it 3D. You can, make it backwards. You can color only the outside of the text and keep the inside of the text a different color. There's just so many different things you can do with Photoshop, but this is just a basic tutorial of just putting text on the canvas. If you want to change the color of your text, you highlight everything, click the tool, and you can even just, there you go, want to make it that color, that color, it's whatever you want, right? And you do that by using this little eyedropper tool. And once you select the text color, and then it'll change. So that's a basic, information about the text tool. One of the most powerful tools that Photoshop came out with recently, and I don't want to say recently, maybe in the last 2 years, is they have integrated AI into Photoshop directly. So it's like having something like Midjourney, but built into the Photoshop software. I will show you guys exactly what I mean. This is what I meant before about using the lasso tool a lot. You click your lasso tool and you do something like this. Let's say I want to put like a tree here, right? Just select that right there. And all I have to do after making that selection, make sure I'm on the background layer, hit generative fill. I'm going to type in 2D tree, right? Something very basic, and hit generate. Now it'll AI generate something that matches your scene based on your description. It'll even match the art style. It'll give you 3 different versions to go with, to cycle through. That actually looks pretty damn good. Wow, look at that. So that's the first frame it gave us. Now it's giving us another one, which is, can't even hardly see it. And there's the third one. And if you want, you can redo this as many times as you want. So every time you hit generate, it will give you another 3 photos, and it'll keep the old ones as well. So you can have 100 different versions and just keep selecting through it if you wanted to. Or like, I'll give you another example. Let's say I turn that off. And I want to do something like a Ferris wheel. I don't know. Let's see. 2D Ferris wheel. Wow, I can't spell. All right. Hit enter. Let's just see what it does. Drum roll. Let's see. It's going to look like crap. It's going to be good. Sometimes it looks really bad. It's kind of a roll of the dice, but wow, that looks incredible. There you go. It's a really powerful tool, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's incredible. I just can't tell you how much I've used this for so many different applications. It has really made my animations and also just the scenes that I create that much better. So I would highly suggest using that. But anyways, those are just the very basics of using Photoshop. Just so you guys know, if you're looking to use Photoshop for editing, for animation, I typically take everything that I want, put it on the canvas in Photoshop first, even something like this, where the character's doing, like a backflip, right? Or some sort of cartwheel. I will lay out all of my frames in Photoshop first, right? Those are all the frames layered out together once this character does like a cartwheel. And then once I put that into After Effects, I already have all the layers and all the frames that I need, and then I just separate them. But all of the building of my scene starts in something like GIMP or Photoshop, and then I transport it over to something like After Effects or VSDC if I want to animate them. But it all starts here, guys. Photoshop is one of the most powerful tools in the entire industry. I can't tell you enough how much you should be using it. Yes, AI has come a long way. No, it has not replaced Photoshop. This is just the basic, but you can do so much with this. It is not a waste of your time to learn Photoshop. I highly suggest it. All right, guys, that's all we have for today. If you want to learn more from us and see us on our journey, like, subscribe, follow, We'll be posting a lot more content in the future. Take care.